Okay. Good evening, everybody. November 6th, 2020 at 6:30. Special meeting to select the village manager. Roseanne, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Mayor Halpin,
Here.
Vice Mayor Kennedy,
I'm here.
Commissioner Ross,
I am here in this beautiful restored log cabin.
Commissioner Samaria,
I'm here and I agree with you, Commissioner Box.
Commissioner Tudor is not in here yet.
Okay. And I'd like to welcome our two pending commissioners. Judy and Art are on also. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Samaria.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag
To the flag.
of America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
flag.
Thank you. We'll open up to public comments. Please raise your hand if you're interested in doing public comments.
Bobby Anderson, I'm unmuting you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bobby, Street, 11th place. I urge this commission to make sure you vote to pick the right candidate for tonight for the manager. Don't put it off. We can't afford to go ahead and keep waiting. We've already lost a lot of good candidates. Putting it off is going to be stressing staff even that much more of trying to do too many jobs at one time. And we're sitting there with problems that are ballooning or getting larger. We need to get a professional in here that the sole job is managing. So do not put that off. Thank you.
Okay. Chuck Ross, you unmuted, sir.
Chuck Ross, 1166 Griffin Boulevard. I completely agree with what Bob Anderson just said. Let's get this over with tonight. Let's make a decision. I think it's actually not a difficult one, frankly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Art Gonzalez, you are muted, sir.
He's not unmuted.
Yeah, take a few
I'm
seconds.
muted now.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I know that there was a little bit of back and forth last night about us, Judy, contributing to this conversation. So the question is this the time for us to contribute to this conversation?
No, you can participate in our conversation. You can't
Okay.
vote, you can participate. So this is
No,
not,
no, I
this
understand
is
that.
public comments, okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Janie Anderson,
Thank you. Jeannie Anderson, 11th place and 119th Street. Well, I echo what Bob and Chuck said, and I think you have a candidate that clearly stood out, that showed energy, showed he had done his homework, the kind of candidate who reminds me of who I always will refer to as the best manager we had to date, Anna Garcia. Someone who, if there was a tree that needed to be planted, she wasn't afraid to get dirty and plant trees. And I see that in one of the two candidates, and I see energy and how he did his homework and how he handled myriad questions. You guys asked incredible questions, could not have been more thorough. Don't let him get away. And then I do have one question. Is Waste Pro going to be back in the city tomorrow to pick up the garbage they didn't pick up today? Because I don't know who else might have been missed, but we were missed. Thanks.
Any other public comments?
no, I don't see anybody else.
Roseanne, will you unmute Judy and Art, please?
Okay. I'm going to the other page to see if somebody's raised their hand. No, nobody else may.
Okay, I'll close public comments and we'll open it up for discussion. And Commissioner Kennedy, you can go first. Would you like to make some comments about our candidates?
Mayor, if I can confirm everybody, all the commission received the comments from Mr. Akimi, please? It was
Okay,
kind
so
of
then
last minute. All right. thank
everybody
you.
got a Kimi, so everybody has all the comments,
Thank
right?
you.
Okay.
Pardon me, Mayor, but before we get into discussion, can we respond to that one question about Wasteboro? If the interim manager has information?
Yes, I just received confirmation from Caesar that Westpro will be here tomorrow. Although we don't know how this storm is going to develop, I would recommend the resident don't put out yard debris for Monday because I don't know how it's going to be possible. And I'll send an email blast at the end of the meeting. I'll send an email blast to confirm with the residents. Okay. But
Beautiful.
yes, for the
Thank you, Roseanne.
tomorrow, it's okay.
Thank you, Roseanne. But I'm
Roseanne,
talking about
when you
part that's
send-
not true.
Mhm.
Roseanne, when you send the email out, would you please remind them not to put more waste out for trees? We saw a lot of it today. The
Oh,
chief
yeah.
and I, people still cutting down and making big piles. And that's
Yeah.
rather dangerous. So please remind them on that.
I will, man.
Okay, Vice Mayor Kennedy, do you want to start?
Okay, absolutely. I'll be happy to. Roseanne, when you send that email out, will you also have someone post that on Nextdoor, please?
Sure.
Did we get
sure.
more people see things on Nextdoor? Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say that I'm very happy to be having this meeting tonight, finally. It's long overdue, and I'm really happy to finally be at this point. I also am happy to have Judy and Art, our two incoming commissioners here, participating with us tonight. I think that was a great idea. And while I'm speaking about Art and Judy, I want to congratulate you both on a successful campaign and give you a pre-welcome in advance to the Biscayne Park Commission. Look forward to working with you. Let me make a couple of comments about each candidate, and then I'll make some other comments, and I can do this kind of quickly. Before I jump in and make my comments, I want to clarify. I sent an email to you, Roseanne. Did we get comments from Will Tudor? He was going to email them in, and are you going to? I didn't get anything emailed to me. I was expecting something, or are you going to read them into record?
No, he said that he would send comments if he would not be able to attend. And I got in contact with him to see, I assume that he might come in late. So
I see.
later on.
Okay, so Will may be joining us. Great. Okay. So first, I want to say I'm glad we gave the folks the assignment of recapping the meeting. It really does give us a good indication of a candidate's attention to detail, their follow-up skills, how well they listen, how well they remember things from a meeting. It's a good indicator about what they'll go accomplish for us and stick to the tasks that we assign to them. So I'm glad we did that. Unfortunately, some of the things that you get back, or sometimes are not great indications, and you get follow-up emails with typos, and one of them misspelled our mayor's name in her email twice. And, some of them are just not as, some are a little sloppier than others, let's say. So I'm glad we did that because it was, it's a good confirmation of things that you may already be thinking about, people. I want to say a couple of things about each candidate because they came in here, they went through the steps that we asked them to do. They spent a lot of time talking to us, and I think they each deserve to be addressed directly. Vince Akimi, and I feel like I'm probably mispronouncing his name, so apologies, Vince, if you're listening. Clearly highly educated, very credentialed and experienced. So we're really lucky to have someone at that caliber apply here. He didn't have a presentation prepared, which was unfortunate. He didn't seem to have done an enormous amount of homework, which was a problem for me. His transportation experience, however, was very interesting. It seems to be his forte, and it kind of stuck in the back of my mind. And he does work on the side. And whoever is our incoming manager, if they ever need someone to help with transportation things, it seems like Vince is very credentialed in that specific area. So I'm glad we had a chance to meet with him, although he's not someone I would consider hiring for the manager. Perhaps we could use his skills in some other way in the future. So we may want to tell our new manager about Vince sometime if we ever need something like that. The next candidate I want to talk about real quickly is Peggy Castano. I really enjoyed meeting Peggy. I felt like she was a person who really cares about her job, I could feel that from her, and I find that to be a very valuable thing in an employee. It's something you can't train people to care. Caring is something that comes innately with people, and when I sense that on someone, I always put a lot of value in it. She also did not have a presentation prepared. I'm assuming, Roseanne, that you told everyone that they would have 10 minutes to prepare a presentation. Mario Diaz had one prepared, so I'm assuming they all got that same information. But Peggy didn't have one prepared, and she seemed to had done limited homework as well, and I thought that was unfortunate. Peggy had interesting experience in some public works areas, some grant writing, and getting funding from the state. And again, she's not someone that I would consider for the position of village manager, but that's something I'm going to hold in the back of my brain because she has skills that might be useful to us, and perhaps she's someone that the incoming manager would consider in some other capacity as well. So I'm very glad that we got to meet Peggy Castano. I enjoyed her, and I thought maybe she could do something for us in the future as well. But she's not someone that I would consider for village manager right now in her career. And that leaves us with Mario Diaz. So I'm going to sing Mario's praises a bit. Mario, I know you're here in the meeting, so hope I don't embarrass you, but I was really, really quite impressed with Mario. And I will say this, going into the entire manager selection process, when I was just looking at them on paper, Mario was my #1 choice if I had to rank them on a piece of paper. So going into this, he was kind of the one for me. And I was trying to set that aside in my mind and clearly just go on the interview. But I have to say, he really pretty much knocked it out of the park for me. So I was very, very impressed with Mario Diaz. He had a very well-constructed presentation for us. Now, clearly, he's a communications professional, so I would expect that from someone of his caliber in terms of communications. But the presentation was excellent. It was concise. He presented it beautifully. He clearly had done his homework, and he researched us. I felt like he knew Biscayne Park as if he'd already been working here for a year, and we were having his one-year evaluation, quite frankly. He was completely up to speed on current issues. He didn't flinch at any of the hard questions. He took them straight on and put together well-constructed answers to things as if he had prepared for them in advance. I was very, very impressed with Mario. His communication skills were excellent. He was very articulate when he spoke to us, and his written follow-up was excellent. So Mario, thank you for that. I'm really glad we gave you that task, because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that his version of the meeting and my version of the meeting aligned with each other, and he clearly paid attention and took good notes. And I felt like we were completely in sync. We both, as if he were our manager and we left the meeting, I would feel confident that he left thinking the same thing happened that I did. His attention to detail was very impressive. He stayed on topic. Personally, Mario seems extremely ambitious, and he means to succeed. And he also answered my accountability question exceptionally well. He seems to want us to hold him accountable, and he wants us to measure him. He wants to succeed, and he understands that being accountable and being measured is how he will succeed. So I was very happy to hear all of that. He basically rang every bell for me. We talked about vision, and I'm not quite done, Ginny. I'm wrapping it up. We talked about vision and an action plan, and that's something that many of you know is very important to me. I find it to be something that this village is sorely lacking. We don't have a big picture vision. Mario understood the value of that, the need for that in this village, and he articulated very well how that would be executed through an action plan that he would personally be responsible for, and that would be tied to the budget. He nailed that part of our conversation. And it really was, for me, the most important topic, because if a manager doesn't have that big picture understanding of how we need to organize things to get it done, then we're going to find ourselves floundering through another year, quite frankly. And really, in my many years of hiring people at different levels, I feel that perhaps Mario Diaz understood that better, as well or better than anyone I've ever interviewed for any job. Mario does not have the title of city manager or village manager on his resume. And I know for some people that's a problem. We were looking for people with a certain number of years of experience with that title. Mario doesn't have that title.
We're losing you.
Okay. My earpiece just clicked off for a second. Mario doesn't have that title on his resume. Can you hear me?
Yes, fine.
Yeah, Mario doesn't have the title on his resume, but he clearly has a variety of the skills that we need, and he makes up for it in other ways. So I would be very happy, very, very happy to talk to Mario Diaz in person. And this is how I want to end my comments here. I'm personally not comfortable hiring someone for almost any position who I've not met in person, but certainly someone who's going to be the CEO of this community. I think it's too important of a hire to make that decision based on one interview, especially, you know, one 90-minute or so interview, especially when it was done virtually. I think this is very important, and I am going to be asking for the commission to bring Mario in. Of the three, he's the only one I would want to meet. I would like to meet him in person. I would like to have him come in on Monday if he's available, and we have a meeting at the log cabin, because I want to sit across a room from Mario Diaz. I want to dig a little deeper on some things. I want to have a conversation with him where he and I are looking at each other in the eye across the room. I'm not comfortable. I'm comfortable in theory hiring Mario Diaz to be our village manager. I'm just not comfortable doing it completely virtually. I've never hired anyone like that, and it's not necessary for us to do it tonight. Between Friday night and Monday night, I highly doubt. He told us he's not interviewing for any other jobs right now. I highly doubt he's going to be accepting another job over the weekend. So I'm hoping that we can agree to bring him in and meet him in person. I just think it's too important. If we decide at the end of our in-person conversation with him that we have a vote and we decide he's the one we want to hire, I would then want to have a conversation with him about his compensation, because Mario understands the necessity for a plan to get things done. And I would like to tie a compensation package together with an action plan that would include a 6-month and 1-year measurement against an action plan that he would construct with us that would have a monetary benefit to him at the end of 6 months and 1 year. If we're to hire him, we need him to succeed. I want him to succeed. I have a feeling he may not be with us, you know, but for a couple of years before someone snatches him away and he moves on to bigger and better things, with our blessing and our highest, you know, referrals. But in the meantime, we need him to do well for us in the number of years that he is here, if he is the one we hire.
Okay,
And
wrap it
I
up.
would
We
like
got a
that
lot
to
of
be
people.
organized with them up front. Okay. And with
Okay,
that, I'm
thank
done.
you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Judy, would you like to say comments? Let's try to keep it to about 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, only two of the candidates were on my list of 5.5 that were my recommendations. And Mario is near the top of the list. After hearing him and seeing him, I think we should snatch him up very quickly and not delay this any longer. I think he's the only one that we've interviewed with the knowledge, experience, and background, not only in what we want done, but here in Dade County. I am 1000% comfortable with hiring him based on that interview, and I would recommend we move forward today.
Thank you. Commissioner Ross, would you like to speak?
If I may, I'd like to give Art Gonzalez the opportunity first as the.
I will, in his turn, I will call him.
You want to hear from me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll tell you that Mr. Heaney was originally in my short list. I thought that he brought a wealth of education and experience, and I was impressed with him on his application and his resume. After the interview, I felt like Mr. Heaney may not be that roll up your sleeves kind of person who would plant a tree or be the manager that this small community needs. And so I put him at the bottom of my pick of the three that are left for us to choose from. Peggy was a much better interview than what she appeared on paper. And I was impressed with her background and her ability in as far as grants and as far as coordinating different interests to produce a good product where she's employed. She gave us a lot of examples of that. So I was impressed with Peggy, and if we were looking for an assistant village manager, she would be my choice for that. Of course, that's not what we're choosing today. We're choosing a manager. Mario Diaz, I initially really liked his resume, understanding that he had never been a village manager before, but that he had the drive and that his career was on a climbing course. So he is ready to take on challenges and accomplish things. And I think that's what our village really needs. So I am, as far as the interview went, I thought Mario was a little nervous at the beginning reading his presentation to us. But as we got through the questioning and he opened up, he showed his easy manner, his enthusiasm, and his interests. He certainly did a lot of research on us. And so it sounds like he's already overcome the learning curve. And we are so far behind on things that I think it's welcoming and refreshing to have someone jump in and already have all of that experience and that knowledge with them. So after the interviews, I would feel very comfortable offering Mario the position. I would hope that tonight we could discuss terms that the commission is comfortable with and that we instruct our attorney to negotiate terms for Mario, which would include certain benchmarks, a 6-month review, and a year review, and other things that will be beyond my time here in the commission. But I feel very comfortable recommending him for the post.
Thank you. Your turn, Art.
Me?
You.
All right. So basically, everybody, good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Obviously, Judy and I were part of the selection committee, and I think that we moved this process along really fast to select 10 of the most qualified people that we thought were available in the list of, I think it was 28, Judy, if I'm not incorrect. Anyway, so long story short, we fast forward to where we are today. Obviously, a lot of those people, and this was my concern, was that a lot of those people, because we didn't move quick enough, would either find other opportunities or would simply not be interested any longer. So we found ourselves with 4 individuals, right? I will tell you that Mr. Mario Diaz was not on my list, but I will also tell you that Mr. Mario Diaz extremely impressed me with his presentation, with his attention to detail, with his drive. I think that he is certainly somebody that we should certainly consider. I don't know if hiring him from a virtual meeting is the correct thing to do. I also think that we should bring him in and talk to him in a personal level. But that's going to be up to you guys to make that determination. I've never hired anybody after a Zoom meeting. I've always brought them in to talk to them on a personal level. But I will tell you that if Mario Diaz wasn't in that interview process, I would have certainly suggested that we start the process all over again, and which would have been very unfortunate. But Mario Diaz was there, and Mario Diaz did a great job. And I think that if you guys have a consensus, and I think that if you guys agree, then I think we should move on Mr. Diaz as soon as possible, because I don't think Mr. Diaz is going to be there very long available. So I think we need to make a move as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Samaria?
This is the first time that I hated going last, because it's going to seem like I'm not going to be able to do much talking, because all the commissioners basically expressed everything that I wanted to say. So mine's is going to be short. I want to thank all 3 candidates for coming, and I believe they're sincere that they want to be involved in this village. Two candidates, Mr. Kimley and Mr. Vincent, I don't believe is the right fit right now for the village. Both had, in my view, trouble responding to questions. To me, I didn't feel like they were willing to find out about the village. They didn't show. Some of them didn't even visit the website. Some of them just didn't answer questions. One of them bothered me that didn't even know where 6th Avenue was. So I was concerned about that. I'm glad that both of their resumes were fantastic. And that's why I always like to do interviews, because interviews show a lot more than what's on paper. As far as Mr. Diaz, when I first brought it to the commission's attention, what I learned, I didn't think he could impress me any more than he did the last couple of nights. I have to apologize to the commissioners because that took 25 minutes. And that's because I had a good talk with him. It was like I was meeting him in person. He answered all 16 of my questions without a hesitation. And so I was very impressed with that. And he answered the rest of the commissioners very impressed. He had a lot of energy. He did his homework. I believe he's like another Ana Garcia. If he can be 50% of Ana Garcia, I will be very happy. Like I said, he responds to our questions without a hesitation. He even had ideas about how to improve the village. One of them that I liked the most was the budget. I used to always say, why do we have to wait until July to hear information on the budget, when he suggested that we could have it in January? So I like somebody that plans ahead. A lot of, like I said, a lot of the commissioners said everything that I thought. I believe that we should hire him tonight. And I would still like to interview. I do agree with Commissioner Kennedy that I would like to meet him in person, but I think we did with the Zoom. The Zoom is like in person. I mean, he responded as if he was in front of us. So I don't have a hesitation of, I want us to hire him tonight. And then we can still do what Vice Mayor Kennedy wants to do of meeting him in person. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want to waste any more time because I am concerned, even though he might not take a job over the weekend, you never know. And I don't want to take that chance. So I think we should go tonight and hire him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our candidates were very interesting. I think Peggy Castano might be somebody we'll be interviewing again in 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully that far down the road. But I think Mario Diaz is a perfect fit for what we need right now. And I would like to make a motion to nominate him as our village manager, Mario Diaz. Seconded by Commissioner Samaria. Any discussion? I do, by the way, I do think that it would be nice to have him here Monday in person to discuss whatever contract or business that we have to discuss and to meet him in person on Monday. Yes.
Commissioner Tudor is on the line. He's coming on the meeting.
Okay, okay.
He's in.
Is he in yet?
Yes, he's in.
Commissioner Tudor, I just made a motion to nominate Mario Diaz, and it was seconded by Commissioner Samaria.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't know, Roseanne, did you have a chance to read the email I sent?
No, what time did you send the email?
I sent it probably around, I don't know, maybe 6, a little bit after 6, but I'll just, in short, I don't know what y'all had been commenting on, but I thought all 3 candidates did well in the interview. However, I felt that out of the 3, Mr. Diaz kind of had the advantage, took the advantage in the fact that he seemed to research the village. He seemed to understand what some of the issues facing us will be. It gave me the impression that if he was selected, he could come to the village and hit the ground running, and the learning curve would be much shorter. So I hadn't had a chance to hear what the rest of y'all, but I think Mario Diaz would be the best selection for the village.
Thank you, Commissioner Tudor. I also added on my motion, 1 second, Roseanne, just to fill Commissioner Tudor in, that I made a recommendation that Mario Diaz come Monday night for us to meet him and discuss whatever contract, whatever. But I did make the motion to appoint him tonight. Any other discussion? Roseanne, you want to do?
No, it's just that the email from Commissioner Tudor is here. I'm sorry I didn't see it before because I turned up the sound of the emails, but receiving the emails. Do you want me to read? Do you want to read? You have with you, Commissioner Tudor?
I don't have it with me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So you read it, Roseanne.
Okay. All right, good evening. I will keep my thoughts on the 3 candidates brief. I felt that all 3 were articulate and provided well thought out responses to each commissioner's questions. As it relates to municipal experience, Mr. Akimi had the most experience out of all the candidates. However, I did have concerns that his tenure at his last 3 municipal employers were very brief. Each of the 3 only lasts between 1 and 2 years. In regards to Mrs. Castaño and Mr. Diaz, each have extensive government experience that would be well suited to the village. The only thing that would set them slightly apart would be that Mr. Diaz appeared to have extensively researched the village and its issues, and as a result would appear to be able to hit the ground running with a shorter learning curve. Sincerely, William Tudor, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Comment?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
That's as well as I.
Go ahead, Vice
Okay, go ahead, Rox. I'll defer to Rox.
Commissioner Ross.
Okay, well, I think nominate is kind of a strong term. I think when you nominate someone, you basically appoint them to the post.
Yeah.
And what we have done traditionally is that we have said, this is the candidate that we would like for the position. And we then refer to our village attorney to negotiate terms with the candidate. Negotiating terms in public is kind of a tricky thing, and it can be very uncomfortable particularly for the candidate for the position, because they are now representing themselves, but also trying to be conscious of the village. It makes for an awkward situation. What I would suggest is that we select Mario for negotiating with our village attorney for the position, and then we instruct the attorney with the terms that are acceptable for the commission.
Okay, Vice Mayor Kennedy.
Yeah, well, I'm there. Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, I have to say that I'm very pleased that there seems to be like an actual consensus. We have 5 commissioners and 2 incoming commissioners, and all 7 of us think that Mario Diaz is the right guy for the job. So that is just a wonderful way to start this, knowing that everybody is very enthusiastic about the same candidate. So I just want to say that for starters, because this village needs that. Whoever we move forward with, it's a great starting place. I do want to reiterate that I'm glad that it sounded like Art was agreeing with me on the concept of bringing him in for an interview. It's Friday night. If Mario's available for Monday, we could ask him. He's here, or Roseanne could call him and ask him right now while we're talking. I find it very awkward to hire someone for any position, but certainly the most senior position. And it's not going to hurt to wait till Monday. Look, guys, I've been the one pushing from the start to get this started. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But now's the time when you take care and you make sure you're doing it completely right. I have a feeling this is all going to work out. I hope it does work out really nicely, but I want to meet the man. I want to meet the man and have a conversation across the room with him where I can talk to him face to face and discuss a couple of other things. Now, one other thing I want to mention, because I'm only one of 5 here voting on this tonight and 7 commenting on it. On Mario's written presentation back to his written recap of his interview, he did something very smart. At the bottom, he listed the main the priorities that he seemed to think were a consensus, and he agreed with. These are the main things going on in the village. He basically gave us the roadmap to put together some kind of a way to measure him in the near term of his tenure if we offer him the job and he accepts it. I think we could use that and pick out certain things from that and give him benchmarks to hit in the first 6 months. And I would really, really like us to do that. So rather than just offering him a salary, I would like to see us figure out a really smart way to craft an offer for him that is a salary with a plan attached to it that he would buy into from the start, because he's given us that list already. So, and we could confer with him on that, and we could put this list together with him, and we get buy-in from our manager from day one, even before day one, day zero, you know, so there's buy-in from him and he agrees that those are the things those are the priorities for the first 6 months. And those are the things that I think I can get done for you. He very clearly seems to be a guy who wants to be accountable and wants to be measured. And it's only fair that he be involved in that. So I think he's kind of given us a roadmap to do that. I think that would be the smartest way for us to compensate Mario if we offer him the job and he accepts it. And I'm really hoping I can get you guys to agree, assuming he's available, to come in here on Monday, meet us at the log cabin for whomever wants to be there in person. But we need to set him up for success. And I think that's the way we do it. I think we need to meet him in person. I'm much more comfortable meeting someone in person. I'm almost done talking, Jenny. I'm much more comfortable meeting him in person, but I'd like, most importantly, to put that plan together with him. He's our CEO and he needs to buy into that. So we set him up for success. We need a manager to succeed. Thank you.
I have a question,
Judy,
if
do you
I
have
may.
any comment? Can you wait? Let's do it in order. Judy?
I think the talk of measuring up is kind of silly. I think it's kind of immature. I understand we set goals and we have to meet them, but I just think you're getting over the top, and there are going to be some people who are going to feel like it's not fair and it's not a nice way of doing things. And I mean, I don't sit there with the secretary and tell her if she doesn't do her job, then she's not going to get a raise or she isn't going to do this or that. She either stays and does the work or she doesn't. And I don't measure up with a timeline. I look at the whole picture of what's going on. Certainly if anybody started at the early part of this coronavirus, there wouldn't be a whole lot of measuring up to do. And the coronavirus is going to put a damper on a lot of things that can be done right now. So I really think that you're setting it up for failure if you set it up to chop them off at the knees.
Who said to chop him off at the knees? I never said that, Judy.
Excuse me. Commissioner Ross?
I think that it's an excellent idea to have certain benchmarks, and we should decide what are the priorities, because there are so many things that we're facing right now. So if the commission can come to a consensus about these are the things we would like to see you accomplish, or at least have some progress on in the first 6 months of the job, I think that's an excellent way of approaching it. We have to tell him what the benchmarks are. We have to tell him what the priorities are, and then we can measure him by that. I find no fault in doing that. How else are you going to understand the effectiveness? I think that that's a very healthy way to do it. As far as meeting on Monday, I had a question for the attorney. Now that we have basically made a selection, is the cone of silence gone, and can we each meet with Mario independently?
That's good.
Yeah, if you make that motion and it passes tonight, then yes, the cone of silence would be lifted, and each of you could individually speak with him at your leisure, including Judy and Art.
Okay.
Just not together.
Okay, all right. Would you like to say anything?
So I would just like to, so as far as what Mac and Rox were talking about, which was, I'm assuming you guys are talking about some kind of an incentive package, right? Where if you meet certain goals, you meet, and that's wonderful. I'm in the same plan in my job. So I'm on a base salary, and I'm also incentivized to perform. And I have to meet certain goals, and I have to. But I guess then the question is going to be, we're going to have to work this out with Mario Diaz so that he's comfortable with his package, because at the end of the day, we want him to be successful, but we also want to I think that incentivizing somebody to do to achieve certain goals, there's no problem with that. But they have to also feel comfortable with whatever package it is that we're giving them. Because I can tell you that if it was not for my package, my incentives I wouldn't care about my incentive, because it would not make any sense. So I think that's also a reason why we need to meet with Mario and discuss with Mario about these things and talk to him and see, hey, listen, Mario, here's what we have, and let's get his feedback, because I think it's important that we hear from him, not just from us, and what is his perspective, and give him our opinion and listen to his perspective.
Thank you. Commissioner Tudor?
I think at this point, probably we need to go ahead and make the offer, let the contract negotiations go on. We're going to have a set period where we're going to be able to review his work performance and decide where we're going to go from there. But I just think at this point in time, we just need to go ahead and get the negotiations in place so that we can go ahead and get this started.
Thank you. Commissioner Samaria?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we keep this up, we're going to chase the guy away. I think we should have, first he should be able to have his package on what he would like to have a conversation between him and our attorney. Then we can look at it. But if we're the incentives are good after we find out what he wants. I mean, what he wants in his package. For us to decide what he's going to get is wrong. I like to hear what he wants, what he's expected. And then the bonuses is a good idea. I agree with Commissioner Kennedy on that. Giving him bonuses if he achieves a certain thing. But I think we're going way ahead of ourselves. I want to hear what his package is first. He hasn't even negotiated with, his attorney with our attorney. And then they can bring it to the commission on what is in the package. I like to see the package first before we talk about, bonuses and all of that. Because I just don't want to chase this guy away. And the way it's sounding tonight is that, that could happen.
Okay. Ed, if I could ask you, is the usual procedure, Mr. Diaz meeting or talking to you to start working on a package that can be presented to the commission?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's whatever you folks want to do. I'm more than happy to negotiate a contract with him. At your direction.
I think that would be the way to go to. I'm going to call the motion, but I would hope that Mario would come Monday night, and I would hope that Monday that he would speak to Ed and start working on a contract that we can then discuss Monday night. Is there any other comments before I call the motion?
Yeah, I want to make a comment about that. I just want to follow up on something. I'm not sure, I'll have to rewind and watch the tape. I'm not sure what I said that made, Judy, I'm talking to you. I'm not sure what I said that made you think that my intention was to set him up to fail and to, quote, chop him off at the knees if he doesn't measure up. That was not my intent at all. It was actually 180 degrees opposite from that. So I just want to make sure, because Mario's listening to this, and I want to make sure I'm saying this as clearly as I possibly can. I want to set him up to succeed, which is why I would like to put together a plan that he buys into completely, that he's involved in creating, and he is incentivized. He gets more when he gets it done. I never indicated that he would be fired if he failed to accomplish goals. Now, clearly, he reports to the commission, and it would be our responsibility. I'm almost done, Jenny. I'd really appreciate it if you would just let me talk when I'm talking, because I'm clarifying something that, and I don't want Judy to misunderstand what I said, because we're going to be working together here soon, and I certainly don't want Mario to misunderstand what I said, and I have a feeling he understood what I was saying very clearly. So it's not about penalizing him or chopping him off at the knees. It's about incentivizing him to succeed. Clearly, that's what I'm talking about. I think we should, I'm hoping we can get him in here on Monday. Can we just have, Jeannie, can we have Roseanne ask him now, or can we open up his mic and say, Mario, can you come here? Can you come to the log cabin 7 o'clock on Monday instead of talking around this? Can we just find out if he's available?
Mayor,
Okay, but let's just ask him the one question. Yes, Roseanne?
I need, you made a motion, then Commissioner Samaria second, and we need a motion, the votes of the roll call to hire Mario Diaz. We have to close that portion of the.
Okay, I'm going to call the motion, and then she'll speak to Mario.
Can I have,
Yeah,
can
I have
someone
to do
read
the
the
roll
motion?
call.
Can someone please read the motion back to us?
That we offer the position, made the motion that we offer the position of village manager to Mario Diaz. And it was seconded by Commissioner Samaria. You want to call the roll, Roseanne, please?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor Hoppy,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kennedy,
I'm going to say no, and I just want to explain briefly why. It's not that I don't think he's the right person for the job. I really strongly believe we need to meet him first. I'm not comfortable voting to offer him the job when I haven't met him, but I'm certainly hoping that it works out. So I'm going to say no.
Commissioner Ross,
I don't understand how we can offer him the job without having established terms, so I'm gonna have to say no, I'm sorry.
Vice Mayor, Commissioner Samaria, Commissioner Trudeau,
Yes.
motion passed 3-2.
Congratulations, Mario. Now, if you can speak to Roseanne, she'll call you, or
I'm gonna open his
and ask
mic.
you if you can come Monday. Okay.
I'm gonna open his mic and where is he? Yeah, there you go. Sorry,
Mario?
sorry, you're on mute now. There you
Hello,
go.
Mayor,
Okay, there he is.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and Commission-elect. To say thank you and for the kind words that you had earlier is not enough. I do appreciate the sentiments that everyone has expressed, and I am eager and ready to meet the challenges of the village. And I hope to work side by side and to speak with each and every one of you now that we're able to and get to know you all on a personal level as well. I completely understand the sentiment that the Vice Mayor and Commissioner Ross has, and I do look forward to meeting you all in person on Monday night at 7 p.m. at the log cabin. I've been walking around the log cabin so much and wanting to get inside, so I look forward to it.
Okay, if it's possible, can you please get in touch with our attorney, Mr. Dion?
I'll pass
Monday,
along
is that
the
okay?
information. I'll pass along the information.
Absolutely, and I'll work with Ed. Absolutely, I'll work with Ed and we'll work together. I do feel that this will be something that can be accomplished very quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. Looking forward to meeting with you.
Thank you.
Is that okay with you, Ed?
Absolutely. Roseanne, you can give him my phone number and we can talk whenever it's convenient for you, Mario.
Absolutely.
Monday
Okay.
morning. Monday
Okay.
morning's fine with me.
Okay, perfect. Monday morning.
Anytime.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And to the residents, I look forward to meeting everybody and working with you all as well.
Okay, good. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to.
I have a question first. I want a clarification from the attorney
Couple
on.
of questions. Go ahead,
Okay.
Matt.
Go ahead, Commissioner
I
Ross.
just want to clarify. Who's speaking?
You are.
Okay.
You are now.
I just want to clarify with Ed, two things. Ed, so we're allowed to talk to Mario,
Yes,
and I'm allowed to email the other two candidates and thank them for applying?
yes.
We're all in the clear now? Wonderful. That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes. I'm wondering how Mr. Dion is going to negotiate a contract when he does not know the limits of the terms that this commission would agree to.
That's what I want to know.
How will that happen?
That's a great
Okay.
question.
Ed, do you need some direction from this commission, what the parameters might be?
That would be very helpful.
Okay,
Yeah,
Roseanne?
No, it was to clarify if the meeting is going to be a public meeting on Monday, or you're going to meet in person with Mario one by one. How's it going to be?
Can we meet Ed without opening it up? Can we just meet him at the log cabin? Just the commissioners and the two new commissioners? Do we have to have it as a public meeting, or can we just do this?
Two commissions
ourselves?
together, it has to be public.
Yeah, it has to be a public meeting. Certainly the 5 or the 7 of you, if you want, can be at the log cabin, and all the rest of us can participate on Zoom. But we have to open it up to everybody.
Okay,
But
okay.
I appreciate Commissioner Ross asking if you know, there's some, I mean, I understand, I think I know what the top salary number is, but other than that, and I don't know if you have another package that you've previously offered to village managers, and if that's the direction you'd like to go in, that would be really helpful for me, or else I'm just shooting in the dark.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Do we have copies of different packages, Roseanne?
Not available right now, no, but I can bring together to add, of course. And also there are some, you know, the previous agreements, and then the other cities also, if the commission wants to compare.
So if we're asking Ed to, through the mayor, if I may, if we're asking the village attorney to negotiate something that we would consider Monday, then today would be the time to set those terms. And I have in front of me the employment agreement for the last manager. So,
Christian?
yeah.
Christian?
Yes.
I mean, basically there are maybe five areas that we need to give Ed direction in, which would be salary, auto allowance, phone allowance if we do that, or if we just provide a phone, and perhaps a probation period and severance. I think those are the basic terms, and with that, Ed can, with his experience, I'm sure he could work with that.
Roseanne, you can send Ed the copy of Christian's agreement?
Well, I'm not saying necessarily that we follow this.
No, but but we can.
We need to give him some guidance on what is our level of tolerance for salary and probation and severance, all of those terms. I think we need to discuss that tonight so that he can go speak to Mario about it.
Okay, I have no problem. The only thing is we don't have that in front of us. Well, what is the first, go over the first one that.
But isn't it, Madam Mayor? Isn't it's Madam Mayor, isn't it that we're negotiating? And I think that's supposed to be between his attorney.
This is not a final thing. This is just for ideas.
I don't remember us doing this for Christian.
No, Commissioner Ross is going to read what we're discussing. Read the part.
Well, we approved in our budget a top salary of $100,000 for a manager.
Right.
Commissioner Kennedy was suggesting that we should have some benchmarks that are to be met in 6 months. I happen to agree with that. I think that we should offer a salary where after 6 months, we could do a bump up depending on what's been accomplished or the progress that has been made for those goals, towards those goals. So considering that 100,000 is the cap, I would suggest that we offer 90,000 as a starting salary with a $5,000 bonus at the 6-month.
After 6 months, right?
Right.
That's an interesting concept. I like that. I also think instead of phone allowance, I believe we have a phone, but I'd also like to discuss the car allowance. I would rather see us purchase a car. I would rather see us purchase a car so that, I mean, you know.
I mean, lease or purchase?
Okay, can we?
I'm sorry?
Can we do one thing at a time, please? Or we're jumping down the list. I think we need to nail down one thing at a time. And I think compensation, Rock started that. Let's finish that conversation before we talk about all the others.
Okay, but I don't think we can nail down anything because that'll be up to Ed and Mario. But it's an idea.
I understand that, but we're looking for some kind of a
recommendation is $90,000, right? $90,000 offer, and in 6 months it would be $5,000, and probably $5,000 in the next 6 months. Do you figure that, Rox? That would be the proposal at this point. That's a negotiating thing.
Okay.
Is there any difference on the phone?
May I ask a question?
And that's what I'm sorry. Before you jump to the, I'm sorry. I really want to make a comment about the compensation before we talk about phone and buying someone a car. Okay. So I would like to comment on the amount of money. I personally was going to recommend that we start him at 85 with a 6-month measurement in place, and he goes up adds $5,000 on and becomes 90. And then at the end of the first year, it's 95. So we have that extra, that $5,000 is the max in our budget. And who knows what next year's budget's going to look like, and whether if we wanted to, we would be able to have more money to give him more. So if we max out this year, we don't know what's going to happen in next year's budget. So I'm more comfortable 85 with a 5-year bump at the 6-month mark if he hits benchmarks, and 5 more. So he would end up at the end of his first year at 95, and we have some wiggle room there. Now, here's what I'm talking about where you get someone to buy into the plan. This is where I would like his input on it. We know what the list of the most important priorities are, certainly for the first 6 months, and he listed them on the bottom of his recap. I would like to instruct Mario to come back and present what he thinks a reasonable expectation would be for the 6 months. I mean, he's the boss now. If he takes the job, he's the boss. I'd like to have Mario tell us what is reasonable that he feels he can accomplish, that would be aggressive, and he would earn that money at the end of 6 months, and then at the end of the second 6 months, and he can present that to us. We can always change it whenever we want to, because we're the ones in charge of his compensation. But I think that's where you get the manager involved in negotiation and have him tell us what he thinks is reasonable based on all the current things we have going on that he seems to have a very firm grip on. So before we move on to other things, that's my opinion on compensation itself, on the actual hard money.
Okay, does anybody else have an opinion on that?
Yeah.
Commissioner Samaria?
I don't think that we should be negotiating. And, you know, we have, the attorney has a contract that Christian looks at. He can present it to Mr. Diaz privately, and they can just discuss it. I don't think that we should be doing this. Just my opinion.
I don't think this should be out in the public. I think we should discuss it with Ed.
That's right.
And I think it should be in the private. I've been here since 1996, and I've never heard this go on in a discussion during a meeting.
I agree.
I have.
May I ask a question? Roseanne, when we advertised this position, did we stipulate any kind of compensation in the advertisement?
Some advertisement, they required us to put a salary, some others not.
So, and what did we?
I'm sorry?
What did we put in?
Yeah, on the beginning, I put in 86, and then the commission approved 100,000, and they I changed for 1,000, 100,000. I'm sorry.
We didn't say $100,000 salary. That was our budgeted amount that we could spend up to. We didn't say, yeah, we didn't say 100,000 is what we would be offering someone. So, but if you
Right.
advertised 86, then I think we should start there and do the bump ups and get him to put a plan together for us. And I have to say that, you know, this is an awkward thing, Judy, when you're discussing someone's compensation in public, but it's a public position, and it's very different than hiring someone to work for your company where it is all done in private. So this is public. Everybody knows what all the employees get paid. It's in our budget that anyone can pull up online and read anytime. So everybody's salaries are wide open here when you work for government.
Ed, can you clarify that?
I think that should be done.
Obviously, the terms of his contract are public.
Private.
Once you approve those terms.
Right.
My experience is it's a really, really bad idea to negotiate any contract like this in the manner we're doing it right now.
I agree.
What I need are parameters, and then give Mario and me an opportunity to sit down and discuss those, come back to you with them, you decide whether you like them or not, and we can do it that way. But
Okay.
Well, I think that's what we just did, Ed.
no, I don't
We
think
just gave you
We're giving you the parameters on salary now, so let's go to the next item.
One thing to clarify,
Negotiating.
if I could, as much as I love Mac, I have to disagree. Mario's current salary level is around the range that he is suggesting, and we're asking him to take on a lot more of responsibility. So I think that just at the outset, we need to bump him up from where he is right now.
I agree, but now he has the parameters and they can discuss that, Mario and Ed. Can we go on to the next item then to give him a parameter?
Sure.
I do like the idea of us purchasing a car. I don't know if anybody has an opinion on that or what Mario thinks of that.
If I may clarify, it's not a purchase, it's a lease. We do
Okay.
the lease.
Okay. Excuse me, lease a car. And does anybody have an opinion on that?
No, I gave my opinion on this. I don't think we should be doing this publicly. I think this should be done privately, and we can find out where he stands. I really feel like we're negotiating his contract or saying what's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And
I think after you,
it's
Ed, after you work it out with Mario, I think we can start.
But Mayor, can't you guys talk to Ed independently and give
Yes.
Ed your input?
Yes, yes,
I don't think without it being aired
All right.
as dirty laundry.
that's right. I agree.
Okay, I agree with that. Commissioner Royce?
Okay, I don't think it's dirty laundry, but with regard to the car, we don't have an allowance in our budget for it right now. So, I mean, that may be something that you want to do in year 2 if we go forward, just to have that in consideration.
Okay, any other comments on that?
Yeah. Regarding the car, I'm not certain why we would lease somebody a car either. I don't know how much of what they do requires them to be driving around. Quite frankly, I think for the most part, they drive from their house and they come to work like other people come to work. So if there's some kind of a car allowance we've done in the past and it's some nominal thing to help with gas or something, or the occasional trip where Mario would go out and have to go somewhere to a meeting or something, I suppose that would be okay. But leasing a car seems a little extreme.
Okay, that's up to you, Ed.
And Rox is right. We don't have it in the budget. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Commissioner Tuda, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, with a car, at this point, we can't really be considering leasing a vehicle. That's something that, unfortunately, the new commission will have to wait till the next budget cycle to consider doing that. I know in the past, it's just simply a car allowance. The discussion will be what that allowance amount should be, but I think we should just, at this point, stay with the car allowance.
Okay, any other comments? Art, do you have anything to say?
No, I'm good. I just, one more thing I just wanted to add, just wanted to say thank you to Commissioner and to Commissioner Ross for their so many years of service. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I know it's how difficult this is, so thank you for your service.
Yes, I second that. Thank you. Any
I
other
third that.
comments?
I third that, and I say, Rox, you're not out of hot water yet, because you know we're going to be calling you to ask your opinions.
Okay, okay. All right, is there any other discussion, or can we make a motion to adjourn?
Well, I'm
Till
not,
Monday
I'm
night.
not certain that we finished up the conversation about the cell phone. So there was a list of things and we didn't
Well,
finish
we
that
have,
one.
I believe, Roseanne, don't we have a cell phone?
Yes, the
We
manager
have
has
Christian's
the
phone.
manager has a cell
Okay,
phone
okay,
allowance.
because the conversation was, okay, see, that's different. She's saying allowance, Ginny, and you're saying phone. Those are two different things.
That's
So are
what-
we offering an allowance or a
That's-
phone?
We can put on the agreement, on the proposal agreement, we can put one of the or the other, and then Mr. Diaz can accept or not.
Either way.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm personally more comfortable with offering him a village phone. So all of his village work is on a village device that we have control over, and everything's there. And for public record information, it's accessible more easily. All of us have phones. Roseanne has a phone. I think it makes more sense to give him a village phone so all of his village business is on our device.
Right, I agree.
Just to clarify, in terms of a public record request, if he received a phone allowance, everything on that phone is also public. So it's the
I
same.
understand that. That's what I'm saying. Separate them for him and for us.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with,
that.
I agree with Commissioner Kennedy, our Vice Mayor Kennedy on that. I've always been a big supporter. I think
I have a phone
the
already.
commissioners should have a phone, so that,
Oh, just
that's
pass
We
perfect.
have it already. So that's
Yeah.
like, you know, an easy one. We have the phone.
Yeah, you guys know
Okay.
the number.
Anything else?
So Rox, did we discuss all the things that you listed there that we needed to discuss?
I thought
To give Ed direction? It was compensation, phone,
we can
car.
call Ed. We can call Ed with any of our other ideas. I thought we decided it really shouldn't be Ed
That's
right
what the-
now.
That's
We
what
can
the
call.
attorney said.
Oh, yes, but there was a list that we were going down, so let's make sure we finish the list. That's all I'm saying. We were discussing them. So was there anything
one
else?
One of the things was a probation period, and I think that
Yes.
pretty much that covers the 6-month benchmarks that we're talking about. So that those things fall
Yes.
together very nicely. And the
Yes.
other was severance, which I think we can leave that up to Ed to what he considers reasonable. There's actually a statutory limitation on what the severance can be. So I don't know that we have to go into that detail.
So that
Okay.
was your list then. Okay.
Okay. If there's anything else, you can always call Ed. Roseanne, go ahead.
I would like to ask if the commission wants to ask Mario Diaz when he'll be available to start. This is very important. We don't know if he'll be available to start immediately. Can I open the mic for him, please, Mayor?
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. Is he still on? Yeah, he's on.
Yes,
Okay,
he's
there
on.
he is. Okay.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. To provide courtesy to the village, the North Bay Village and my employer, I would at least have to give them at least 2 to 3 weeks in order to transition many projects that I'm currently working on. So as I'm sure we can, while I provide that time frame for North Bay Village and transition out, we can definitely work and negotiate the terms and work everything out. So I don't think that'll be a problem to do.
Okay.
And by the way, your present manager spoke to one of our county commissioners about how nice you are. So I just thought I would tell you that.
Thank you
It's
so
always
much,
nice to
Mayor.
hear something nice, okay?
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Wait, Mayor, I have one
Go ahead,
thing.
Ed. Yes.
In light of the fact that we don't know what that storm is going to do out there,
Oh, you're right.
Monday could be an issue for everyone. I'll keep my fingers crossed, but
Absolutely.
please recall that each of you can talk to Mario directly now.
In person.
As long as it's only one of you speaking to him at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
So
So can I suggest then, rather than meeting on Monday, we already have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday for the variance.
There you go.
And then we can wrap this up Tuesday night after that variance hearing.
And after the storm, and it'll be sunny and bright, hopefully.
Well,
Is that okay with you, Mario, to come Tuesday night for our variance meeting? Maybe we'll come a half hour early. Does that sound a possibility? Our variance is at 7, correct?
Yes, that's 7.
Can we come in a half hour early? Can we come in on Tuesday, assuming everything's fine with the storm?
Assuming everything is fine with the storm, Mayor, absolutely, I don't see that as a problem. I would just ask the attorney if any advertisement requirements would need to be met.
I didn't quite get that.
all right, I got it.
This has been going on and,
Yeah, if the commission is going to eventually take a vote on Tuesday, I
No,
would
we
just
took it
ask.
already.
no, there's no
We took
vote.
it
We voted already.
No.
We voted already. You're hired.
Mario, I don't think we're gonna have your contract ready by Tuesday.
It's breaking.
We'll talk Monday, Ed, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And is that
If I may,
everybody's approval?
I would just like to suggest that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I don't think it's realistic that we would meet with him at 6:30 and be ready for a publicly noticed variance hearing at 7 o'clock.
No, can't
I
do
don't
that.
think and we can't keep those people waiting. This is their variance hearing. If we
Well,
would have
everybody
started
can
at 6, I
speak
think
to
that would be
Mario
more
if
realistic.
they have,
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know,
it's just not
Jeff.
realistic that we're going to do it in 30 minutes, and I don't want to keep the residents waiting for a variance hearing. So I would suggest that we either do it at 6 or tell Mario to attend the variance hearing and be prepared to start immediately when it's over.
Didn't the attorney say
I
that
don't think
we
it's
can-
realistic, and I don't want to keep residents sitting there.
The attorney suggests that the commission can meet Mario Diaz one by one. And that can be at the
That's right.
convenience of each commission and Mr. Diaz anytime.
Yeah, there's no purpose of meeting, Madam Mayor, there's no purpose of for him to come in on Tuesday because
If
we
you
can
want
meet
to meet
privately.
Saturday, Sunday, I can come, open the log cabin one by one, and you can do it.
What I envisioned to happen on Tuesday is that we would have the terms set, not necessarily a contract and a resolution that we could approve, but that the commission could, after we each spoke to Mario from now until then, and the village attorney spoke with him, that we would have terms set by Tuesday, and commission could just approve them and say, please draft and adopt that agreement and resolution.
Yes. That was the idea. That sounds good.
So may I clarify, I'm sorry, we're all allowed to talk to Mr. Diaz at this point, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Roseanne, can you provide Mr. Diaz's contact information, please? I would like to speak with him.
Okay.
I'm not going to show up on Monday or probably Tuesday, but I will certainly reach out to him over the next couple of days.
How far to each one of you?
Thank you.
Okay, actually, that Tuesday for the variance meeting, Judy and Art really does not have to be here, or you can be on Zoom.
Judy's good. I'll be driving to Tallahassee Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, hopefully that there's no rain.
I drive in the rain.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments? We're not meeting then at 6:30 on Tuesday. You're shaking your head, Commissioner Ross?
Yeah, I think we should meet on Tuesday at 6 or 6:30 to review the terms that the village attorney and Mr. Diaz have reached and approve them. And then that sets the clock ticking for Mr. Diaz to give his notice to his employer and brings him that much closer to us.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, we need to button that up with a vote, I would think. And again, I'm going to suggest that we're not going to get that done in 30 minutes. And we have a publicly noticed variance hearing, which is a quasi judicial hearing.
We do know that. We do know that.
Coming in for
We do
hearing.
know that.
So
We
I'm
do know
reiterating
that.
that we're not going to do it in 30 minutes.
So can we start at 6 o'clock on Tuesday?
Commissioner Samaria, is that okay with you?
I agree with Commissioner Ross. If a deal can be made, at least part of the agreement between our attorney and his attorney, then I have no problem doing it. I do not want to rush to have him do this contract until he's ready to do the contract.
Well, it's not going to be ready. It's not going to be ready. Commissioner Tudor, would you be able to make the meeting Tuesday? I know
I'll
you're in
actually-
personal business.
Yeah, I will actually be on the road. I'm
Right.
either out of town. I'm either
Yeah.
leaving Monday evening or Tuesday morning.
He announced that
Okay.
he will not be able to attend on
Yeah.
the 10th.
Our thoughts are with you with your son. Best of luck to him.
Thank you.
Yes.
He's getting
Hopefully
deployed.
Yeah, as a father, I'm a little stressed about it, but everything will
Yeah.
go well.
Everything will be all
Well,
right.
you got to look at the positive. It's a different scenery, right? Different country. What he doesn't need.
Yeah. Nothing like a little holiday, 4-month holiday to Syria.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, okay. All right. So then we're going to meet Monday at 6 o'clock. Is that okay with you, Ed?
6?
Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I'm sorry.
Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock with bells on. Okay. Do we have a motion? Everybody agreed? Is everybody in favor of that? The 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can we have a motion now to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will see you Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
Stay safe.
Good luck, Will.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. You know, if I don't push this down, I don't hear it.
You have to mute yourself, man. You have to mute yourself.
I have to unmute.